So Jump Festa is going on right now in Japan, and there's been nothing really big announced for Dragon Ball. Didn't think there would be, which is why I did not make a video about Jump Festa this year, with the exception of some video game stuff. We had Orange Piccolo and Gohan Beast be added to Dokkan. There's some, hero stuff and some legend stuff, but speaking of heroes, what did premiere at Jump Festa was Super Dragon Ball Heroes Ultra God Mission Episode 6. The episode is called The New Dark King Attacks, A Dreadful Battle Begins. And this episode continues the storyline of Chronoa versus Aios, the Supreme God of Time and the older Supreme God of Time, and their time and space tournament. But things are starting to get out of hand. So it's Goku confronting Aios. He was in Ultra Instinct last episode. And what happens is there's a big explosion and Goku is trying to protect protect Chronoa, the Supreme Kai of Time, from the evil Supreme Kai of Time. And it looks like she goes back into kid mode. So the explosion that I was talking about is not from Aios. It's from DEMIGRA, however you want to pronounce it. The villain of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and 2, and of course the villain of Dragon Ball Heroes. He is a character that was created for Xenoverse, but also for Heroes, and he's one that the Japanese are very familiar with. He's in the Dragon Ball universe, video game universe, right? So he has the cube of space-time, and it's him basically being reborn, and he wants to begin the tide of evil. So he calls forth a surprising addition, but one that's familiar nonetheless to longtime Dragon Ball fans, and that is Xeno Omega Shenron, aka Xeno Yixing Long. It's basically the same name. I mean, Omega Shenron is the English dub name for the same character. Yixing Long basically means one-star dragon. I think it's one-star dragon? Yeah, I believe so. Anyways, he is the villain here, except this is the Xeno version, so he's bigger and he's black. He's like massive, like huge. And so, like I said, DEMIGRA wants to create a new world of darkness, and they're confronting Goku and Aios, who agreed to work together later in the episode. But what happens is, before they even fight, Xeno Gogeta 4 appears. So it's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Limit Breaker from the Time Patrol. So it's Xeno Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Gogeta, and we proceed to have a rematch from the end of Dragon Ball GT, specifically Dragon Ball GT episode 60, when we saw Gogeta fighting Omega Shenron. They're fighting again here, and Gogeta even, is just as cocky as he was back then. He's even taunting the guy. He uses one finger to flip him down and then pushes him back with the one finger. So this is just a joke of a fight, to be honest with you. It's very similar to what they try to do with Gogeta in GT, to where nothing that the dragon could do would even remotely hurt him. Like nothing, you know what I mean? In this case, it was probably more one-sided because they had a time limit. So he's sitting there pushing back this giant dragon and elbowing him, and then Omega fires back and it hits Gogeta 4, and then he's like, you trying to work over my shoulder? So he's just messing with him. He's taunting him, he's toying with him. He's basically making him a joke, to be honest with you. So what ends up happening is Omega creates a giant purple ball. It's not quite the same thing he had in GT, but it's still, a big purple ball. And then Gogeta fires back with the Big Bang Kamehameha. And that is enough to defeat Yixing Long. So it's one of those things where this fight was a compressed version of the fight from GT, which is already very short. And pure fan service. I mean, obviously, the Gogeta 4 Limit Breaker and the Xeno Omega Shenron or whatever, obviously those are going to be new cards and heroes now because they're making their appearance here. And it's just funny how out of nowhere Gogeta appears. So that means that Xeno, Goku, and Vegeta had to have fused off screen at some point and then shown up to confront Omega. You would think they would have shown up as individuals and then done the fusion pose there, but we don't have enough time. This is a 9-minute episode. I think it's 10:51 including credits, so it's really 8-9 minutes. Very short episode. And they're there, and you would think you would have Goku and Vegeta show up and then do the fusion pose, but no, they were already in fusion. Okay. Hey, it is what it is. So they beat Aios, and 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 they beat they beat Jinglong or Li Shenlong, Li Shenron, and Aios now wants to team up with the good guys. So now, because DEMIGRA has shown up, which is a bigger threat, now all of a sudden Goku and Aios wants to fight DEMIGRA. So DEMIGRA is facing off with Goku and Aios. They're about to fight, and then suddenly a giant figure in black shows up next to him. And if you make out the shape, if you take a real good look at him, you can tell it is indeed Broly. It is Xeno Broly, a.k.a. Broly from the Dragon Ball Z movies. Not the Super Broly, the Z Broly, that Broly, but he's been enhanced with the dark magic. So that's going to be the next enemy for Goku and whoever the hell else shows up to face off against. They almost imply that Gogeta isn't going to be around for the next episode, but I really don't know that. So if you're a fan of GT, and if you're a fan of Gogeta and Omega Shenron, you'll probably like this episode. Because realistically speaking, we only saw Gogeta for, 10 minutes in universe, which is maybe like 6-7 minutes and hours. I don't really know. It might have been longer for us. But basically, he was in one episode. So I feel like what's funny about all this, y'all, is that Dragon Ball Heroes has managed to give more screen time in total, not including This is including the older Heroes episodes, like the ones from the previous season of Dragon Ball Heroes, the promo anime. I feel like if you combine all of the Heroes promo anime footage, he's probably been in Heroes more than in GT at this point. Like, for real. Like, he's probably been in Heroes more than GT. Because he was only in GT for one episode. And once you get past that, once you go past him being there for one episode, then what? You know what I mean? Then what? And we've already seen him get plenty of screen time. So I think he's either right there or maybe even over the appearance he made in GT. Now, the next episode of Heroes coming out, I think it's next month, but it might be the month after. The episode's obviously going to be about Broly, and it's called A Turbulent Super Space-Time Battle from Dark King DEMIGRA's Demonic Grasp. So does that mean that eventually Broly is going to turn on DEMIGRA? Does it mean that he's about to defeat Goku and Aios and they escape? They escape from his grasp, but I don't know. They might escape because this arc is definitely not over. We're still in the middle of it, but it really comes down to what they have planned for in Japan, because unlike regular anime, this promo anime is written and created completely different for the sole purpose of getting people who are in Japan to get hyped up to play Dragon Ball Heroes in the arcade. It's a money-making venture is what this is, and a promotional vehicle, which is really what television used to be back in the day. To promote toys and video games, cartoons were made. It's the same thing here. That's what Dragon Ball Heroes is, basically, except much, much shorter. So this episode, again, if you're a fan of GT, Super Saiyan 4, you'll like it. If you miss Omega Shenron, you'll like it. Everybody else, I'm not sure if you'll like it. I'm not sure if you'll care, really. The fighting was alright, but there wasn't anything home to write about. So, typical meh episode of Heroes. They pretty much all are, with the exception of a very small number of them that are really bad or really good. You know what to expect by now. That's all I have for today. Take care. I'll see you soon. Take care of yourself and each other.